The button has been pressed. Hello happy people, I'm Kat and welcome to Copycat Vlog. My channel is about lifestyle, sports, entertainment, human rights, anything super interesting, so welcome. Finally feeling better. My recovery from COVID is happening slowly but surely. If you missed my COVID story, it was in the previous vlog. I will put a link, so watch it. In this vlog, I want to talk about travel chaos that is happening in different airports all around the world and tell you my personal story that happened to me and how my luggage went missing for 18 days.
Lost again. I don't know what to do. I guess it's my bad luck or what, but I guess my next step is to go here, lost and found, and report it. But everyone already got their luggages and I seem to be the only one.
It all started in May. I went for a work trip to the US and I live in Madrid in Spain, so it was quite a long trip to make. I filmed little parts of my trip. I went to the athletics meet in Eugene in Oregon, and I also got to explore Portland for less than a day. So here it is. Just have a look and share those moments with me first before I go in the travel chaos story.
Wait.
I am waiting.
Wait.
I got it, I'm waiting. Okay. Thank you. Despite the tiredness, I'm really enjoying Portland. It's such a cool city, lots of flowers, lots of greens everywhere. And now I'm going to try the most famous ice cream called Salt and Straw, which comes from Portland. Let's go.
It all went really well. The last time I was in the US was actually 7 years ago, and it was really different this time. My first ever experience with the US happened when I was 15, second time 7 years ago, and this was my third time in the country. I was very excited to come there again, especially for work-related purposes. And then I had to travel back from Eugene to Seattle. And that's when my flight got cancelled. I was stuck in Seattle airport, not knowing what's going to happen. I went to the information desk and I asked them, what can I do? And they basically told me, well, there is a flight going to London, which you can take. But me being a Russian national, it's always very dangerous with the UK. I said, no, I can go to London. I could only go also because I had American visa. UK is being... Anyways, I denied my travel to London and they said, what's the next option? And so they told me that the next option is to take a trip to Amsterdam, but it's only going to happen the next day. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But then in such situations, I'm an experienced traveler, so I know that they're supposed to give you vouchers, hotel. So it's basically on the flight company. In my case, I was traveling with Delta. So they gave me a hotel next to the airport, and it happened to be that I have a friend in Seattle. Not even one friend. Actually, I know 3 people who are based there. And I met with the 2 of them. And actually, you know, in such situations when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, as they say. So when life gives you one day in Seattle, take the chance and travel and see the city. So that was my solution. Thanks to my friend James and my friend Artem, I got to meet them both. And here I also recorded some small memories.
And James, my amazing friend who lives in Seattle, and I ended up here crushing the city. And this is the first Starbucks in the world, right? Or am I lying about it?
It's store 1.
Store number 1.
Technically, the first one had a fire,
Okay.
and then it moved to here.
Okay, oops. And this is the line of people who are trying to get there. Amazing. Well,
Look, it even has a different, that's the old school, like, original emblem.
Okay, we're not gonna be among these people who are queuing up to get in, but it's fun. It says 1912, so here we go. This is the year. And thanks, James, for showing me your amazing seat. Now I'm making you shy.
This
Well,
one might be the second biggest.
I like that we are not in the main park, but we're in the second biggest park right now.
This park
having
has
local
more flowers
coffee
and trees. And
enjoying Seattle nature. Yeah, no, that's so beautiful. I'm so happy we came here. It's like a little oasis in the middle of the city, no? With James, we met in Spain, and now we're meeting again here in Seattle because my flight got cancelled.
Then I had to go to Amsterdam. Also, the flight that they offered me was not ideal because I arrived to Amsterdam at like 9 a.m. and I had to wait there until 7 p.m. So basically the whole day. A lot of hours of waiting in the airport, being really, really tired. And that's when I saw a really messy airport and there were so many people, it was overpacked. I have a friend in Amsterdam who wanted to come and see me in the airport. Shout out to you, Carlos, if you're watching this. But in the end, we decided against it because the airport just looked so messy. And I've been to Amsterdam airport before and usually it's really great, but this time it wasn't. It was really difficult. In Amsterdam, I didn't really see the luggages, but I already saw that it's overpacked. There are way too many people and I started wondering what is happening there. I arrived back to Madrid and that's when my luggage didn't arrive. And at first, you know, it happened to me before. I said, okay, no panic, it's gonna come eventually. And maybe because they were offering me London flight, maybe they sent my luggage by mistake to London. I had no idea how right I was because that's what actually happened. They sent my luggage by mistake to London, even though I refused going to London. That didn't stop them. I'm waiting 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I'm checking the online system. They give you a tracking number. You have to register your luggage, your missing luggage. Never leave the airport before actually going to the point where you can say, my luggage is missing, you report it. I know the lines are big, but if you don't do that, say goodbye to your luggage. So it is essential that you do that. I had to stand in a very long line, needless to say, after a very long flight. But what can you do? And then the waiting started, and I mean, there was already a spoiler in this video that in the end I waited for 18 days. And actually, if it's missing for 21 days, your luggage is declared missing and they have to compensate everything. I don't know about you, I don't care too much for compensation when I need certain things in my luggage, like they're important for my life survival. And I'm of course being ironic and I'm talking as a person from the first world country, but there is an electric brush that I have, there is a pillow that I like to sleep in, there is my teddy bear that I travel with. So I'm a picky, complicated person, let's face it, I'm not gonna lie about that. But I still don't think it's okay to make your luggage missing 18 days. And I live in Madrid, so of course I had some of the essential things. I arrived back home, but after waiting for 18 days, I was calling the line. I was asking, what can I do? Should I go to the airport? And the system was wrong too. They were telling me that your luggage is in Madrid. And then I would be like, yay, waiting, you know, checking my phone every other second, and nothing would happen. So I was like, okay, that's not right. I would try to contact the airport, the airline, and it was just like one vicious circle of trying to reach out, not getting an answer, still hoping to get a call about your luggage, not getting it. After 18 days, I went to meet a friend and we were getting some drinks, and I was actually, you know what, I have to let it go at some point and see if they call me. And that's when they called me and they said, okay, your luggage is found, you will receive it tomorrow. And I said, until I see my luggage, I don't believe you. So the next day, finally, they delivered my luggage. And then exactly that same day, I had a trip to Berlin. Okay, what's the possibility that my luggage will go missing the second time? It's not possible. And I was wrong. I arrived to Berlin, I was waiting at the luggage section and my luggage didn't arrive. The thing about it, I was actually not arriving home, but I was arriving to Berlin, where I didn't have anything. And because I thought that I can't be so unlucky twice, I didn't even pack anything into my backpack. And that's another tip. I really advise you these days to put something like some essentials, toothbrush, your pillow, whatever you really need in your backpack, even a teddy bear if it's your good luck charm. In Berlin, the line was even longer, and the amounts of different luggages that I saw, they were just enormous. There were like piles of luggages everywhere. And that's when I read that this is actually a common situation. I will show you a picture now. There were like piles of luggages in London everywhere. People wouldn't get their luggages delivered. That's when I knew, like, okay, this is not normal, but I guess this is somehow typical. In Berlin, the line was even worse. I had to stand a very long line. There was just one person sitting at the desk. He was clearly overwhelmed, not very friendly. And when I asked him when will my luggage get delivered, he looked at me really angry. He was unhappy by me asking this question. And he said, honestly, I don't think it's gonna get delivered to your house. You would have to come back to the airport. I already expected it to be a nightmare. Came to the airport, and actually I was not alone. Of course, there were other people. And what shocked me the most in Berlin airport is that they would just let us in, and we all went to this luggage sections. Luggages were organized. There were actually different companies, Swiss, Air Europa, Delta, any other company. And when I asked where is my luggage, they said, okay, which company did you travel with? So when I said my company, they brought me to a pile which that company had, and miraculously I saw my luggage standing there. As I was leaving the airport, nobody checked the tag, nobody checked that it is actually my luggage. I showed them my luggage tag upon entering, but as I was leaving, no one checked anything. Important tip, try to claim compensation in these cases, even if you get your luggage delivered, because it's often in companies' policies and you can claim it back. Unfortunately, I'm still fighting with Delta because they told me that it was your place of residence in Madrid, so that's okay. So the fact that your luggage was missing for 18 days, that's not an issue. And I'm trying to argue that yes, it is an issue. Even if you deliver my luggage in the end, it creates a lot of discomfort for me because I'm supposed to have my things earlier. If it was 2-3 days, that's one thing, but come on, more than 2 weeks is not fine. Why is this situation happening? It is interesting how the world changes in this post-COVID era, I call it. In 2022, we got back to traveling, we do things as normal, but the truth is that the systems can't go back so quickly to the normal regime. A lot of people lost their jobs during COVID times. A lot of air staff, airport staff, they were fired, they lost their jobs. So imagine now that the amount of people is back to normal. When during COVID times, maybe it was just a few flights a day. Now it's hundreds of different flights. The airport is not able to control this amount of people, and they're lacking staff. People who would simply pick up the luggage, get it delivered, and so on. So this is really a problematic situation, and with airport staff, you don't just hire people like that. The good thing that I learned about the whole aviation sector is that these people are very well trained. It really takes time for them to get back to their jobs, and the working conditions are not very attractive. Many companies don't offer their workers very good conditions. We all know about Ryanair, EasyJet, low-cost companies, and I have to say, as a student, I traveled with them a lot. They're convenient, you know, you pay 30 euros for a ticket and you travel around Europe wherever you want. But now I am considering certain ethical components of that. Knowing that workers go on strikes constantly, they protest against bad working conditions, against being underpaid. This is something that I pay attention to, and I think it is important that we look into that. I know that not everyone has a luxury to do so. I understand everyone is in different financial situation, and I'm never judging people who take cheap flights, because come on, we all love them. But I don't think this should be reflected in the working conditions of people. So I'm very curious where this whole aviation industry will take us. I travel quite a lot for work, for holidays, and yeah, what we've seen was a mess. I actually have a footage that I filmed in Zurich airport, and then the woman approached me and asked me not to film. And I stopped filming, but I was like, okay, but why can I not film inside the airport? Is there a rule about it or what? Why can't I film this? I'm very curious how the situation will develop. Now that I travel back to Madrid, it looks a lot better. There are not so many luggages, but still there are quite some piles. So yeah, tell me what your thoughts are. Did you experience such things when you traveled? How was it for you? Did you ever have any complaints about different flight companies? I'll be very curious to learn about it, and we'll have to keep an eye on the travel chaos and how it evolves or hopefully decreases. Hopefully in the future different airports will manage to maintain this situation, hire new people, give them good working conditions, and make our travel experience a lot better and smoother. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Stay tuned.